I go way back. I can remember when Johnny Ace became the first rock and roller, major rock and roller, who died too young. And today, we got the news that David Bowie had passed away, and there have been many great rock and rollers in between Johnny Ace and David Bowie who have died too young and who, during their short lifetimes, gave us a lot of pleasure and who made changes for the better in this old world. There's always a politician, a president or a king who's ready to take a bow when things go well for a few years. And even though it might be the rock and rollers, the poets who wrote the words or the performers who gave us the style, they might be the ones who actually deserve the credit for a lot of the great changes, things that have happened, ways people think over the years about many things. But whether the rock and rollers get the credit they deserve or not, still they do make those positive changes. And with that in mind, I'd rather rock and roll than to be president. Yeah, I'd rather rock and roll than be president, 'cause that's where all the big money gets spent. So I'd rather rock and roll. Yeah, I'd rather sing than speak to a crowd. You know, I'd much rather sing than speak to a crowd. Sing along, sing the song loud. Well, I'd rather rock and roll. Well, I'd rather dance than to lead a parade. I know I'd much rather dance than march in some parade. That's where all the big money gets made. You know, I'd rather rock and roll. Well, I'd rather rock and roll than to be president. Oh yes, I'd rather rock and roll than be president, 'cause that's where all the big money gets spent. Well, I'd rather rock and roll. Well, I'd rather rock and roll. Well, I'd rather rock and roll. Well, baby, you know that I'd rather